Sometimes in life, you find yourself trying to explain to others when asked the reasoning behind your decisions. Being in such position is interesting because as you try to convey what prompted you to do something, in a way you're coming to terms with it yourself, and it kind of helps you see it more clearly. It can be uncomfortable, but it helps. Often though, people just want the short version. The version that makes the most sense to them, so that they can be put at ease and go on with their lives. The small talk kind of version. I, however, can't stand small talk. It is one of the reasons I don't go more often to the hairdresser, to be honest. But I learned to function from small talk to small talk back in Australia, so maybe you wouldn't have noticed. For this story, I will give you the long answer, the honest answer. I won't beat around the bush. After moving to Australia from Colombia, where I was born, I rediscovered myself. I saw myself as an adult for the first time and learned that I was independent and had no problems with forging my own path. Sure, had I stayed in Colombia, many aspects of my life would have been probably easier. With help from my parents, would have bought an apartment at a very young age, would have developed and advanced my career as a respiratory therapist, which was very close to my dream job since I was a child, and the ups and downs of life would have been shared with more people. But this is not what my instincts were pulling me towards. So I decided to move to Australia, with that air of certainty that only being young gives you, without caring too much for what others may think, except for my mom, who has an unparalleled belief in me for some reason. Meeting Aiden was nothing short of a miracle. I felt it back then and keep confirming it day after day. How on earth, among billions of people on this planet, someone can find the right person for them has to be divine intervention. The Australia I remember was one of those places where you could get ahead by merit, where you didn't need to know some kind of politician to get a job, unlike Colombia or even Italy, where almost everybody had the same opportunities. Since the time I moved to Australia until the time I left, I pretty much tripled my yearly income. I did a second degree at university. I had perks such as bonuses and company cars. I had a great role involving marketing, business development, and account management. I liked the team I was a part of, and I was part of corporate Australia. Corporate Australia is this magical world in which, given the right mixture of things such as an opportunity, experience, and education, you can thrive. However, the other side is a scary one. If you happen to be on the wrong side of a company's restructure and happen to be laid off, there is a time bomb in your purse, and while you're sitting in front of the HR people who are giving you the news, you're wondering how fast you can bolt out of the room to start applying for jobs. Because your savings won't last long, because you don't even know where your last resume was saved. because now you must change yours and your family's plans, because your purpose has been taken away from you. And that is even before the news sink, and you start wondering, why me? Even though it happened to 120 other people, for example. Why me if I help grow the business? Why me if I was efficient? Why me if often I received praise? Why me if I was liked? Why me? Why me? It's nothing personal. It's business, but it is personal to you.
Come on, mush, mush. Mush, mush. Hello, mush. Ay, what's going on?
That year, I saw myself doing that elusive dance of going for interviews, of talking highly about myself without talking highly about myself, of talking about my previous role without bursting into tears, of sitting in front of someone who asked all kind of questions faking interest in me, when I knew he would rather be drinking his soy latte and scrolling through his Instagram account. That dance where you manage to put yourself together and act all business-like, just to come home a couple of hours later and get into your tracksuit pants and stare at your resume for the rest of the day. I soon became to understand that applying for a job can be dehumanizing, demoralizing, and a literal waste of time. It wasn't that hard to be interviewed or shortlisted, but it was getting harder and harder to fake interest. As I was giving up, I was able to catch a break and was offered a role in a similar industry. But this is not the kind of story where you get a job and your problems are solved. If anything, having this job was worse than not having a job. Those out there who have ever worked for startups may understand what I mean. This was the kind of environment that wants to suck you dry and make a healthy profit quickly. The kind of bosses that make you doubt whether you deserve to have a toilet break. The kind of situation that makes you want to be a 3-year-old kid again and run back to your parents so as to not have to think about anything else for a while. After a short few months of me being in this role, COVID hit, making everything irrelevant and many people and jobs redundant. The real people, the people like you and me, were now on the same boat. Many people say that 2020 changed their lives, but I personally was given a head start in 2019 on the employment front, that is. I had already been surprised by destiny and shaken. At this time, I started to take matters into my own hands. Instead of waiting for the bus at the bus stop, I decided to walk and see what happens, like Aiden says. This is how Aiden and I decided to open our own healthcare business, which up until now we still have. There were no perks or impressive bonuses, just late nights, ups and downs, and a genuine interest in caring for others and offer the most understanding service. If you have ever owned your business, you will know that there is no moment of your day when you don't think about it. You feel proud of what you have achieved, but you catch yourself from time to time missing a healthy and steady paycheck. The perks, the possibility to continue climbing the imaginary ladder of corporate life, colleagues, and being able to turn your phone off as you leave the office.
Felix. Hey, Felix.
Without trying too hard to get it, an opportunity arrived for me to rejoin a big company. A six-figure corporate job again, a company car, bonuses, and perks. The promise of a clean 9-to-5 life. And because I am not perfect, I took it. But God, did I regret it. I have never been an anxious person. I have always been positive and light-hearted, but this job made a mess of me. From 9 to 10 a.m. I was fine, but from then onwards my hands would get sweaty. I desperately needed to get up from my desk every so often. I could not see myself staying much longer, yet I'm not one to easily give up, sometimes to my detriment. Yeah, I know. I was the most unhappy I have ever been in my entire life. This unhappiness and my unwillingness to ignore it by being paid what I wanted and deserved was one of the main reasons I felt ready to leave Australia and move to Italy. The second reason was less obvious to the untrained eye. After 2020, Australia had changed. The world had changed. There was no longer innocence. There were no longer freedoms. There was no longer such a thing as the best country in the world. There was no worst country in the world either. And knowing this gave me a kind of relief, as it put pretty much all countries on level ground, so the decision to give up what I thought I had didn't seem that crazy. I didn't move to Italy because I thought here things would be perfect. I had been here before too many times to know better. Plus, as you will know by now, Aiden is half Italian. So I am very familiar with the contradictions of this country. The love-hate relationship that some people in general and many Italians in particular have with their motherland was no surprise to me. I moved to Italy because it was that or die. Die a slow death of ignoring my own reality and sanity, of being cornered into doing something that was against my will. I moved to Italy because as much as I was afraid of change, I was more afraid of not trying something new. I moved to Italy because time was running out and only I could tell if it was the right choice. I moved to Italy because, as I did when I left Colombia so long ago, I needed to open my wings again and let life shape me into a better version of me. Do I miss the steady six-figure paycheck? From time to time, yes. Do I need that much money to live a normal life? Definitely no. Have I learned to live with less? Absolutely. Is Italy what I expected? Yes, but I didn't have rose-colored goggles to start with. Did I make the right choice? I believe that any choice is the best choice as long as it is mine. Do I miss Australia? Yes. I miss the birds, the bush, I miss the organization of the country. Will I ever work in a corporate environment? Maybe, but it will have to be a pretty special kind of place. Will I ever go back to Australia? The longer I stay in Italy, the more I feel that I have what it takes to start anywhere. That the place I live in shapes me, but does not define me.
Bella, sì, bella, grazie.
Fatta a mano?
Fatta a mano? Dove? È parlata?
Sì, ma i nonni.
I noni?
Sì.
Oh,
Bis no.
bellissima.
Questo minimo 60-70 anni.
Vero?
Sì, di più.
More than 60-70 years old, honey.
Però è nuovo, mai
Sì,
usato
sì,
questo.
mai usato. Thank you so much for watching this video. We really hope that you enjoyed it. After doing this video, we got this beautiful basket. Our work is done here and we couldn't be happier. Thank you so much again and we'll see you in the next one. Ciao!
If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, and if you haven't yet, please subscribe. You can continue to enjoy my content right here, and we'll see each other on the next one. Bye!